Ex-Afghan President Hamid Karzai also told NDTV they can't be good and bad snakes. He was reacting to Pakistan's Foreign Affairs Advisor Sartaj Aziz's remarks on the Haqqani group not being Islamabad's enemy. The Haqqanis are linked to attacks on the Indian embassy in Kabul in 2008 that killed 2 diplomats, 2 ITBP personnel and 54 Afghans. You talked about assets. Now, a liability has been the situation across the Durand line in terms of the sanctuaries which still exist. You've talked about the duplicity or the dual role of the Americans when you were in power and how they would talk about accepting that fact but telling you not to do anything about it or that they couldn't do anything about that. Has that changed at all?
That's a sore point. That's a very tragic aspect of the entire war against terrorism, the entire struggle against terrorism. Knowing fully well where the sanctuaries were, knowing fully well where the training grounds were, knowing fully well where the financial instruments were of support to these terrorists and their sanctuaries, the United States and other allies didn't do much at all to address it. Rather, Afghanistan was targeted, our villages were targeted. That became the reason for the original reason for the differences that cropped up between me and the United States, and I hope that will be addressed now, or I hope that we will all recognize and work together to address it now.
And it's not just the Americans. There's a Pashto saying that if I remember correctly, it says you cannot hold 2 watermelons in one hand.
Exactly, exactly.
Sartaj Aziz recently in an interview mentioning that America's enemies are not necessarily our enemies, that's Pakistan's enemies, and it was taken to mean the Haqqanis. Now there's duplicity there as well still.
You see, that is where the problem is. You cannot have a good snake and a bad snake. You cannot train snakes. They don't develop affection in any direction. They can come back and bite anyone, the trainer or others. Therefore, to say that those who do not hurt Pakistan should be allowed to hurt others is a very unfortunate remark. And that's where the problem is. I hope that our brothers in Pakistan will change this thinking, this approach, and will begin to see extremism and terrorism as danger to Pakistan and as danger to all of us, and as fellow human beings in this region, so we can work together to free ourselves from this menace.